A giant 9 feet tall, an army frozen in fear, and a boy with no sword, no armor, and no fear at all. Only 5 smooth stones and an unshakable faith. This is the story of David and Goliath. The Philistines had gathered their armies for battle against Israel. On one hillside stood the army of King Saul. On the other, the Philistines, and between them lay the valley of Elah, a no-man's land where no soldier dared to step. Then out from the Philistine ranks came a champion. His name was Goliath of Gath. He stood over 9 feet tall. His coat of armor weighed as much as a man. The point of his spear was like a weaver's beam. He was a living fortress of bronze and iron. And Goliath roared across the valley, "Choose a man and let him come down to me. If he can fight and kill me, we will be your servants. But if I kill him, you will serve us. I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together." When Saul and all Israel heard these words, they were terrified. Morning and evening for 40 days, the giant came out and hurled his challenge. And not one man in all the army of Israel dared to face him. But far from the battlefield, in the quiet town of Bethlehem, God was already at work. He had sent the prophet Samuel to the house of a man named Jesse with a sacred and secret task: to anoint the next king of Israel from among Jesse's sons. One by one, Jesse's sons passed before Samuel. Eliab, tall and strong, surely this was the one. But the Lord said, "Do not look on his appearance or his height. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." 7 sons passed by, and 7 times Samuel said, "The Lord has not chosen this one." "Are these all your sons?" Samuel asked. "There is still the youngest," said Jesse, "but he is out tending the sheep." They sent for him, and when the boy came in, ruddy and bright-eyed, the Lord said, "Arise, anoint him. This is the one." So Samuel poured the oil, and the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon David from that day on. David was a shepherd, the least of his brothers, watching his father's flock in the hills. But in those lonely fields, he had learned something the soldiers had forgotten, that he was never truly alone. For when a lion came and took a lamb from the flock, David went after it, struck it, and rescued the lamb from its mouth. And when a bear came, he killed it too. "The Lord who saved me from the paw of the lion and the bear," he would later say, "will save me from this Philistine." Now David's older brothers had gone to war with Saul. And one day Jesse said to David, "Take this grain and bread to your brothers at the camp, and see how they are." So David rose early, left the sheep, and ran toward the battle lines. He reached the camp just as the armies drew up for battle. And there it was again, the giant, stepping forward, shouting his defiance. And David watched as the bravest men of Israel ran from him in fear. David was indignant. "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine," he asked, "that he should defy the armies of the living God?" His words reached King Saul, who sent for him. But Saul looked at the boy and said, "You cannot fight this Philistine. You are only a youth, and he has been a warrior from his youth." "Your servant has killed both lion and bear," David answered, "and this Philistine will be like one of them, for he has defied the living God. The Lord will deliver me." And Saul said, "Go, and the Lord be with you." He dressed David in his own armor, bronze helmet, coat of mail, a sword. But David could barely walk in it. "I cannot go in these," he said, and he took them off. Instead, David took his staff in his hand and went down to the brook. There he chose 5 smooth stones and put them in his shepherd's bag. And with only his sling in his hand, he walked out to meet the giant. When Goliath saw David, a boy with a staff, he was insulted. "Am I a dog," he sneered, "that you come at me with sticks? Come here, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field." And he cursed David by his gods. But David answered, "You come to me with a sword and a spear and a javelin. But I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, that all the earth may know there is a God in Israel." As the giant moved in for the kill, David did not retreat. He ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. He reached into his bag, took out a stone, put it in his sling, and slung it with all his might. The stone flew true. It struck Goliath in the forehead and sank deep, and the giant fell face down to the earth. So David triumphed over the Philistine with only a sling and a stone. Having no sword in his hand, he took Goliath's own sword and struck off his head. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they fled, and the men of Israel surged after them in victory. A shepherd boy had done what an entire army could not by sword, not by strength, but by faith in a God who looks not at the outward appearance, but at the heart. If this story stirred your faith, subscribe to Scripture and Flame, where we bring the Bible to life, one story at a time. And tell me below, what giant are you facing today? Thank you for watching.